I think that I found, well, Jean was supposed to come on the summit with us. So Jean was someone that I reached out to first, actually. I had heard her name come up a couple of times when talking with different staff members, such as Nisha, Joe, Amanda. So I reached out to Jean. So she was kind of with me in the beginning stages after Nisha and I kept figuring out like what direction we wanted to go in with everything. For Sierra, Casey, and Chase, I found them and I thought they were, they really impressed me after they had been talking a lot on different, Sierra and Chase had been on a lot of our student athlete forums that university would host, or any other ones that they would advertise that were hosted by other schools or other conferences. So Sierra would speak a lot in a lot of them. Chase would ask a lot of good questions. And so I felt they were two responsible, knowledgeable, passionate people to be a part of the project. And then lastly, KC was actually someone who also attended the summit with me in January. So he heard the presentation I heard. I got to know him better throughout that. And he's actually a Black history major. He's a history major. So he's very knowledgeable on Black history, very passionate about Black people in general and Black culture. So I thought he'd be a great asset too. And so I'm thankful to have them all helping me with it, because it would have been a lot to do on my own. So yeah, I'm glad with my decisions and who I picked.
For Jean and Sierra, what was it about when she came back and talked about this group that really resonated with you? And then how this has morphed into B.L.U.E.print. What do you see as the most important parts about having a group like this on campus?
Sierra, you want to go first? Sierra? Okay, I guess I can say.
Yeah, go Artie.
Okay. For me, I want to say, I was really devastated, honestly. I wasn't able to attend the showcase with Carlina and KC. And the only excuse I was really given was because I had to train for my sport, and it kind of just set up that stereotype, I feel like, for a lot of Black student athletes. It's that, you're recruited because of your athletic ability, but we're not really installing or teaching or developing you guys outside of the athletic realm. So I think it was really great that Carlina and Sierra really jumped the ball on getting this started, because now we're helping other athletes realize they're not just here for sports, and they're more than just an athlete. There's so much more than that. They need to build connections with people for their career, for them to grow as individuals. And that for me, it just ever since then, I just really gave me a new perspective on what I really think this group could do, if that answers that question.
I would say my passion comes from, I've always been I've always loved Black culture, and, like to understand the different backgrounds, where Black people came from and how, we've sort of kind of progressed over the years. I've just never used my platform to talk about it, because in a sense, I don't want to have to argue somebody down on why I think my way is right. In a sense, I've never felt like other people would understand where I'm coming from. So when Carl brought this idea to me, and after the George Floyd incident, I just saw a lot more people that I didn't expect or know step up and start talking about things that I was like, okay, well, hey, I have a platform now. Let me utilize it. So when Carl came to me about it, I was just really excited, and I was like, hey, I'm all for
it. Sorry, like you said, Sierra, you have this platform. So, why is it so important now that you use it?
Like a lot of people say, athletes get the misconception that you're not supposed to have an opinion. You're just supposed to kind of shut up, let the world do what it does, and you just play your sport. And I think that it's important for young kids to understand, it doesn't matter. If you're an athlete, a doctor, right is right, in a sense. And if people understand and know, like, hey, she plays a sport and she still is using her way of, like, she doesn't care. Well, if somebody gets upset, they're probably not gonna want her anymore. She doesn't care about that. She wants people to know where she comes from and where she stands in society, and like she's going to use her platform and her position to speak out against things that are wrong.
And I think another part of that is just right now, student athletes are realizing how much more power that they have, and that we hold more power than we thought we did. So that is just something that I've learned in the creation of the blueprint and the start of the blueprint, is that we are more powerful than we think. And so it's just finding a way how to use that power for the right things, and, you know, just not going rogue with it and doing it the wrong way. There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. And I think this is the way that we wanted to use our power, use our platform. And then it'll also have an effect on the people that come after us as well.
Yeah, and I know the release said that y'all are planning, I believe, every other Tuesday having a meeting. What do those meetings look like in your mind, in any of your minds? What messages, what speakers, what activities, what would a meeting look like, and what do you hope that the fruit that those meetings produce?
Yeah, so we're going to meet every Tuesday of each month. And so these are going to be educational sessions for the members of the Blueprint. So ideally what it's going to be is we're going to have different discussion topics. I know our first one for September is Battle of the Sexes. And so we're going to be talking about the different stereotypes that Black men face in society and that Black women face within society. We're doing a mental health one that we will be partnering with sports psychologists when we're going to do a Know Your Rights that will talk about different, or that will educate Black athletes on their rights and what they are able to do and what they're not able to do when a cop pulls them over. We're going to partner with NAACP. We're going to try and partner with NAACP on campus. So a lot of the topics that we were very intentional about picking them. And we thought they were very relevant and topics that a lot of people may think that they know or may feel educated on, but we just want to take it to a different level with it, so that the goal of these educational sessions are to educate people, to kind of start conversations that we as Black athletes may not feel comfortable attending a PWI and being surrounded by our all-white teammates or our all-white coaches that may not have any input on the subject just because they don't know and they can't relate. So that's one thing we want, is for people to feel educated, people to feel comfortable, and just kind of like in a setting where they're able to be themselves freely, that they might not be able to be like walking on campus to class or in their sport.
As the university has announced other initiatives with other athletes to talk through conversations of diversity and inclusion, if you look on social media, you look other places, there's been a lot of people who have been really saying this is a great thing, this is something that's needed, but there has been some dissension on platforms and forums. Do you expect to see some of that as this gets announced and gains some traction? And how important is a group like this when there are dissenting voices out there that are pretty vocal towards student athletes?
Yeah, we definitely expected some kind of negativity with the drop of the blueprint. But I think we are so focused on the future and the plans that we have for the blueprint that we are not even worried about that. We're not even going to let them try and stop us, because we have so many positive and supportive people backing us up. Like, we would be fools to just let a couple ignorant people get in our way. But I feel like a lot of people try and claim that racism isn't real. Racism was in the past, whatever their story is for that. But we, with seeing a lot of people respond back to our posts, back to the video we posted with negative comments, I think that just speaks for itself and why we need a club like this, to show like how racism is still relevant and how these topics that we need to talk about are need to be talked about, how people still need to get educated on what it's like to be Black in America, what it's like to be a Black athlete in America, what it's like to be a Black athlete at a PWI. So I think that the negativity, while it's negative, while we expected it, we're not going to let it get in the way, because I think it just kind of pushes our goal and pushes our initiative and the mission that we want to achieve. It kind of like gives us just another sense of drive for how we want to impact our student athletes.
Can I add to-
Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely want to say, like, our whole initiative, like, with the backlash is very much expected, but the way we are choosing to carry this out and go about it is definitely about unity, about bringing people together. The blueprint was not made specifically and only to exclude every other student athlete and just for Black people. It's about everybody and the empowerment of Black student athletes and letting them know that their voices are heard as well. But this club is to unify all student athletes as well. So we're not excluding, we do have more sessions that are going to be geared and exclusive to Black student athletes, because we feel like the message is going to be targeted and can help them in their growth and development in that area. But again, it's not to exclude or to make other people feel as though we are trying to portray a racist ideology that Black lives are the only lives that matter, because that's definitely not the case. But it is definitely important that the Black community feels as though not only that they're a minority, we're 3.2% in our institution, but also that they don't have to just be recognized as just an athlete who isn't really seen as anything else. So.
Yeah. And that actually followed up with one of my other questions are there going to be aspects to this group that are open and involve other allies of different races and ethnic groups that want to be a part and help us move this conversation and move the what y'all are trying to push along to?
Yes, for sure. So while we want it to be an all-inclusive group, we are targeting our Black athletes for the exact reason that Jean said. We are 3% of 100%, and that's like 2,000 people out of 60,000. So we have low numbers in that area. However, we are planning on having a couple of our monthly meetings are going to be all-inclusive. So like our, I think the two we picked were Black history, to educate people on our Black history and how way back it goes, and then mental health as well. And we're just going to talk about some of the stigmas that mental health plays in Black people, Black culture, Black families. And then we also have all-inclusive. All of our events that we have planned are going to be inclusive. Unfortunately, a lot of them had to be pushed back to spring of 2021 or fall of 2021 because of COVID. However, those will also be inclusive as well, to kind of bring that unity aspect back into it. And because there are allies that want to support, but not all of our allies are able to speak on some of the topics that we will be talking